Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Danielle Scruggs. In the studio now with me is April Ford-Griffin, Director of the Civil Rights Enforcement Agency, and Ed Wartts, Director of the Fair Housing and Equal Opportunity Division of HUD St. Louis. Can you tell me about the Civil Rights Enforcement Agency?
Yes, we've actually been around since 1950, and currently we work with HUD in terms of doing enforcement of the law to make sure that people don't get discriminated against when it comes to being able to rent or purchase property or advertisements for property, no matter who they are, and make sure that they're not discriminated against based on their race, color, religion, national origin, sex, disability, and familial status. The difference in our local ordinance and here in St. Louis is we also protect persons regardless of their sexual orientation or gender identity. And so we take in complaints each day, and we can investigate, we can do mediation, we can do an administrative hearing, we can also litigate and go to court on behalf of a person if we find that their rights were actually violated, and it's no charge to them. And so, yes, so we need to make sure that we educate people and bring awareness about their rights and about what we believe to be violations, and then ask them to call our office at 622-3301 if they feel like they have been discriminated against. We also handle employment cases. So we have an agreement with EEOC to take in complaints and investigate them. And once again, if we find cause, we can go to court and have litigation on their behalf. We are not an advocacy organization, so we're neutral. We take in the facts and we investigate. But at the point where if we should feel like there was cause and an act of violation of the fair housing law has occurred, and then we become more of an advocate for that complainant to go to court and to stand up for them and try to get justice. And so we've been around a while, but it's very important to continue to educate people on what their rights are. And so here recently, we have taken on a new initiative that will be community outreach in the LGBT community, which is the lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender community. And we'll be doing a lot of outreach and activities just to say that we have equal access for everyone, regardless of those type of those type of individuals that fit into those communities where sometimes discrimination occurs. And so we just want to let people know that the City of St. Louis believes in protecting your rights, and we work very closely with HUD, and Mr. Wartts works with our local office to do the same, some of the same enforcement as it relates to fair housing.
Okay, and Mr. Wartts, can you tell us about HUD?
Sure, and it's very similar to what April does, but HUD is the federal agency that enforces the Fair Housing Act, which is the national law that prohibits discrimination in housing, the rental and sale of housing, and as well as lending transactions and insurance transactions. Anything that is related to the purchase or the renting of a house, HUD would take care of it. It includes brokerage services, so we expect that people will not be discriminated when they go to a broker to get services, or a real estate agent as well. And our enforcement is very similar. If we take a case to court, the person may be awarded punitive damages. There may be some civil penalties as well, and we've had some very large settlements in that area, especially recently with some of our local banks as well. So HUD is the national enforcement agency for the Fair Housing Act, and a number of other civil rights regulations as well that relate to people who receive, or agencies that receive, federal funding. So as example, for the City of St. Louis that receives some $20 million a year from HUD, we also go out and take a look at how that money is used, and to make sure that it's provided on an equal basis, and that development is not done in one particular area, but in all areas of the city and where the greatest need would occur.
Alrighty, now also can you tell us a little bit about your commitment to us here in St. Louis.
Absolutely. I think it's very important for people to understand that as a city, we believe that it's very important to have equal access and inclusion for all people. I think as we continue to try to promote the city and say that we want to make the city great again, certainly it has to be a diverse city so that companies will want to come here, young professionals will want to come here, people who have lived in other places that they may feel is more progressive. We want them to know that we're doing everything we can to be very inclusive here, to have diversity, and to be intentional about including all people in everything that we do.
Okay, now when we come back from a break, we're going to talk more about the attractions to bring people to St. Louis with your organization, but we do need to take a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll have more with April and Ed when we return. Remember, to keep up with STL TV and all of the great events going on around St. Louis, friend us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And you can always watch us streaming live on stltv.net. Keep it locked to STL TV. We'll be right back with more STL TV Live.